I'm Dr. Pulkit Mathur, Professor with Lady Irwin College.
Today, in this module, we will learn about Food Safety and Standard Act of 2006, food business operators, the condition of license and registration, roles of the regulatory staff, FSSAI initiatives.
Now, prior to 2006, there were 8 food laws in India, namely, number 1, the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act of 1954, number 2, the Fruit Products Order of 1955, number 3, the Meat Food Products Order of 1973, number 4 was the Vegetable Oils Products Control Order 1947, number 5 was the Edible Oils Packaging Regulation Order of 1998. Number 6 was Solvent Extracted Oil, De-oiled Meal and Edible Flour Control Order of 1967. Number 7 was Milk and Milk Products Order of 1992. Any other order which came under the Essential Commodities Act of 1955 relating to food was covered under this. Earlier, there were multiple laws and regulations that created confusion in implementation. So, to consolidate different laws that existed, the Food Safety and Standards Act, which is the FSS, was formed in 2006. Now, this was with an aim to establish a single reference point for all matters relating to food safety and standards by moving from a multi-level, multi-departmental control to a single line of command. To this effect, the Act establishes an independent statutory authority, the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, with its head office at Delhi. Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, which is FSSAI, and the state food safety authorities enforce various provisions of the Act for laying down standards for articles of food and to regulate their manufacturing, storage, distribution, sale and import to ensure availability of safe and wholesome food for human consumption. Part 1, Schedule 4 of FSS Licensing and Registration Regulation of 2011 is for registered food service establishments. Part 5 of Schedule 4 of Food Safety and Standards Licensing and Registration of Food Business for licensed food service establishments. This lays down mandatory sanitary and hygienic requirement for catering sector. As per the Food Safety and Standards Act of 2006, a food business operator is the person by whom the business is run or owned, and he is responsible for implementing the mandatory sanitary and hygienic requirement. Now, there are certain responsibilities of an FBO which we are going to discuss. The first and the foremost responsibility of the FBO is to ensure that the articles of food satisfy the requirements which are made under the Food Safety and Standards Act of 2006 at all stages of production, processing, distribution and sale. No FBO should manufacture, store, sell or distribute any articles of food which is number 1, unsafe or misbranded or made of substandard material containing any foreign matter. Number 2, articles for which there is a license which is required except in accordance with conditions of the license. Number 3, articles which for the time being are prohibited by the Food Authority or by the central or state government. Number 4, food products which are in contravention of any other provision of this Act or any other rule made thereunder. Number 5, the FBO should not employ any person with any kind of infectious disease. Number 6, the FBO should not sell or offer sale on any article of food to any vendor without guarantee in writing on the form which is specified by the regulations about the nature and quality of the article. The bill, the cash memo or the invoice provided by the FBO to the vendor can be considered as a guarantee. Any food which is unsafe and is part of a batch, lot or consignment of food of the same class description will be considered as unsafe until a detailed assessment within a specified time is carried out. As discussed before, that part 1 and 2 lays down licensing and registration requirements for the licensed food vendors. So in this section, we are briefly going to cover a few major conditions which have been laid down in the Food Safety and Standards Act of 2006. As per the FSS Act of 2006, all food businesses of the country need to obtain an FSSAI license or registration. Depending upon the nature of the business, the FBOs are required to follow a food safety regulation specified under the FSS Regulation Amendment of 2018. As per the amendment regulations, the FBOs will be required to put up sector-specific food safety display boards in their premises. Now this will be discussed in detail in the upcoming section. For food establishments, it is mandatory to follow Schedule 4 requirements. As per the regulations, food and water samples should be tested regularly. Now, all necessary information should be provided to the licensing authorities. One should inform authorities about any new modifications in activities or the content of the license. Employ at least one employee with a FSTAC certificate. FSTAC, which is the Food Safety Training and Certification, is a training body of the FSSAI which provides training courses. Now the courses are divided in 3 categories, that are basic, advanced and special. On the basis of the competence, trainings are further provided by FSSAI approved training partners. Only items for which license or registration is obtained should be produced in the unit or food establishments. Raw materials must be obtained or procured from licensed or registered vendors and maintain records of the same. In addition to these, with special emphasis for hotels, restaurants and other food establishments who sell savouries, sweets or other articles of food, should put up a notice board containing separate lists of the articles which have been cooked in ghee, edible oil, vanaspati and other fats for the information of the intending purchasers. FBOs selling prepared food should display a notice board with the nature of the articles being exposed for sale. Now we will discuss who is a food safety supervisor. To implement the clean and hygienic practices, food safety supervisors are trained by the Food Authority as per the FSS Act of 2006, Section 16(3)(h). These FSS should have training certificate in courses which are under the FSTAC training ecosystem. The key responsibilities of the FSS are: number 1, to carry out implementation of hygiene practices as per FSS regulations in their respective food outlets. Number 2, to train food handlers in their outlets about safe food handling practices. For each food service establishment, there should be at least one trained certified food safety supervisor on a maximum of 25 employees. Roles and responsibilities of regulatory staff, the food safety officers. A food safety officer plays an important role in maintaining the food quality levels in order to ensure safety and providing satisfaction to the consumer. Responsibilities of the food safety officer are to issue registration and license to the FBO and provide guidance for compliance with the FSS Act of 2006. He also needs to recommend the designated officer to issue improvement notices to the FBO, to investigate complaints in case of any violation of rules and regulations. They are also required to address queries of the FBOs, to draw samples for surveillance, survey, research, and to check compliance. They need to also respond to incidences of food poisoning and assist so as to take suitable action. To facilitate municipalities, panchayats in preparing food safety plans, to detain suspicious imported packages. The food safety officer shall also launch prosecution against non-compliant FBOs before courts of ordinary jurisdiction. FSSAI has been very proactive in introducing several impactful initiatives to ensure safe and healthy food accessibility to everyone. Some of these are Serve Safe, Food Safety Display Boards, Hygiene Rating Scheme, the Indian Food Sharing Alliance called IFSA, RUCO, which is to repurpose used cooking oil, then Clean Street Food Hubs, Bhog, which is Blissful Hygienic Offering to God. Now it's important to understand each initiative further. Serve Safe is a nationwide initiative under SNF to ensure that safe and nutritious food is served when you eat out at restaurants, dhabas, canteens, schools or any other catering establishments, including events of large functions. Serve Safe initiative is being rolled out through 3 major activities. Number 1, appointment of a certified food safety supervisor in FBOs. Mandatory display of food safety display boards by the FBOs. Hygiene and Hygiene Plus ratings, which are also referred to as responsible places to eat. Next is the Food Safety Display Boards or the FSDBs. As per the FSS regulation, there is a mandatory requirement of displaying the FSSAI license or the registration number at the food premises. Now usually the FSSAI license number is not visible to the consumers. Thus, to change the overall consumer perceptibility and to strengthen the food safety, FSSAI has introduced the Food Safety Display Boards, which are also called as FSDBs, and these are for various food businesses. The Food Safety Display Boards are informative boards which primarily display the food safety and hygiene practices to be followed by the FBO in their establishment. The FSDBs are color-coded for different kind of food businesses for the ease of recognition by the consumers. The color designation as per kind of business is as follows: restaurants, purple color; fruit and vegetable retail, green; meat retail, red; milk retail, blue; street food, purple; retail stores are grey; liquor retail, brown; transport and distribution, storage, yellow; manufacturing, turquoise. Now, 3 important elements of FSDBs are: 1. The display of the FSSAI registration or license number of the FBO. Number 2. The 10 to 12 golden rules of food safety and hygiene requirements. Lastly, effective consumer feedback system that provides various options to the consumers for sending feedback through either WhatsApp, SMS, or to give feedback on the FSSAI app.
First, we will understand what is Hygiene Rating. Hygiene Rating is a voluntary scheme applicable to food businesses supplying food directly to consumers either on or off the premises, and food businesses are then rated on the basis of food hygiene and safety conditions which are found at the time of inspection. Hygiene Rating scheme will be applicable on all food establishments that supply food prepared or cooked or served outside of homes directly to consumers for consumption or off the premises. Currently, this scheme is being launched for the catering sector. Hygiene Rating system is implemented in two parts.
Now the first phase, Hygiene Ratings. Hygiene Ratings will score the FBO based on self-assessment questionnaires for compliance with food hygiene and safety procedures and structural requirements, followed by the verification of the hygiene rating by physical inspection and validation by the state FDAs. The hygiene rating will be from 0 up to 5 as per the level of compliance. Second phase, Hygiene Ratings Plus, also known as Responsible Places to Eat. Hygiene rating of 4 or more and the compliance of voluntary conditions to be adopted by the FBO will rate the FBO as responsible place to eat.
The key requirements are: number 1, to promote personal hygiene; number 2, to promote healthy eating; number 3, to promote safe water handling; 4 is effective complaint handling; number 5, open kitchens or kitchen visits; and number 6, to donate surplus food. This will enhance the commercial viability of an FBO and responsibility towards providing safe and nutritious food to consumers. The fourth initiative is Save Food, Share Food and Share Joy. It is an initiative of FSSAI that brings together citizens, food businesses, corporates, civil society organizations, volunteers, government and local bodies in a coordinated manner to prevent food being lost or wasted throughout the supply chain, from initial production down to final household consumption. The three objectives are to recover the surplus food generated to feed the needy and the hungry, reduce the amount of food waste generated, and to increase the amount of safe and nutritious food donated to those in need. The next initiative is RUCO, or Repurpose Used Cooking Oil. RUCO is an ecosystem to enable collection and conversion of used cooking oil or UCO to biodiesel. To understand RUCO, one needs to understand the hazards of used cooking oil or UCO. Usage of used oil increases the toxicity of the compounds, leading to several diseases such as hypertension, atherosclerosis, Alzheimer's disease, liver diseases. To monitor the quality of vegetable oils which are being used during frying, FSSAI has fixed a limit for total polar compounds at 25%, beyond which the vegetable oil shall not be used. FBOs are required to monitor the quality of the oil during frying by complying with the given regulations. India's food streets are repositories of age-old delicacies functioning as remunerative sources of livelihood for thousands of people who keep the distinctive traditional cuisines of India alive. Clean Street Food Hub is an effort to revive and promote traditional Indian foods and develop trust among consumers in the street foods of India. This is a cluster approach under which food safety and hygienic benchmarks have been set to upgrade existing street food vendors by way of infrastructure development, training and auditing.
The last initiative of FSSAI is Bhog, also known as Blissful Hygienic Offering to God. Bhog or Blissful Hygienic Offering to God is a part of the SNF bouquet of initiatives to encourage places of worship to adopt and maintain food safety and hygiene while preparing prasad and food, and includes training the food handlers and vendors in and around the premises of the places of worship. Places of worship are a very important part of the Indian society, and Bhog will ensure that safe and wholesome prasad is received by the devotees who consider foods offered at these places as pure and sacred. Thank you for watching this video. Have a very good day.